Good morning. Welcome to Morning Brew with your girl Germaine. I just heard an echo. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Brew. Yes, it's your girl Germaine, and we're here. Today is Mixed Blend Wednesdays, and you know what? I'm probably a few moments behind because I no longer brew my coffee on the show. I have to bring my coffee maker back up into my studio, into the coffee shop. Good morning, Leslie. All right, I think I'm hearing feedback. Okay, so I'm excited because today is the second Wednesday of the month. And so, what we've done here at Morning Brew, we're bringing our resident contributor back into the show every second Wednesday of the month. Now, don't hold me to that because, listen, he comes whenever he wants to come. That's the power he wills. Okay, so. But yes, we have Charles E. Williams Jr., our resident contributor, who is back with us today, our two-time Emmy Award-winning producer and founder of WEG Media Group. And, you know, I'm always happy when he shows up because, listen, Charles is family. And, you know, I contribute a lot of this, me being in front of this camera 5 days a week, to him, pushing me over the edge. He pushed me right over the edge. But today, listen, our mixed blend topic today is Ram in the Bush. So let me just get him up in studio so we can just get into it. All right, hold on.
Hey,
hello, Charles.
Good morning. I'm happy and excited to be back on Morning Brew once again.
Listen, you are no stranger here. You are definitely family. So you know what? Like I said, you can pop up, show up, hijack the show whenever you like.
Sometimes you're led to say something, and sometimes you're led to stay quiet because the power is in the tongue.
That's right. So let's talk about it because I know when you come on, listen, we need to get it all in before you head out because you're limited in your time. So today we're talking about Ram in the Bush. Okay, tell me now, that means quite a few different things. And it's not just biblical references, it's also life principles. So let's get into this.
Well, just kind of refreshing a little bit from the last time I was here when we talked about wings to fly, flying on somebody else's wings until your wings are strong enough to carry you. So this is kind of a pickup series that I want to talk about today, and it's called A Ram in the Bush. And Ram in the Bush is a story about a biblical story in the Bible where, if I'm not mistaken, Abraham. Abraham was told to make a sacrifice back in the day when you had to sacrifice an animal with the blood and everything. And Abraham heard God say that I need you to sacrifice your firstborn. Yeah. I think it was only born, if I remember correctly, the story correctly. And he was a chosen child. He was a blessed child. He was destined to do things in society. But just as Abraham took him up to the mountain and got ready to sacrifice his only son that he loved so dearly, he heard a voice of God say, "Stop." And he looked over, and there was a ram in the bush. Yeah. So it spared his son's life. But the story of this is about having faith, the faith that everything will work out. So how does this relate to our regular lives? Whether we're going through financial difficulty, we're going to mental difficulty, and just life difficulties when we feel like life is weighing us down. Always remember, when you ask for the help to God, the universe, or however you perceive a higher being, someone or something will always happen, or someone will show up in your space when you least expect it. And we have to expect faith. But the one thing, we have to put an ingredient in there. Most people who went to Baptist churches or certain churches, at the end of every church service, the preacher always said, take that first step and give your hand to God. So in life, you have to take the first step in order to make things happen. It's almost like mixing two chemicals together. If you never mix those two chemicals together, nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
You have to take the first step, and God will lead you to a certain degree. But, for the most part, a lot of us who step out on faith and not realizing there's a ram in the bush waiting on you, don't do the work. We're looking for things to happen immediately. We want to know the beginning, middle, and the end even before we start the journey. But you have to start the journey in order to get there. I heard a preacher say in church many, many years ago, he told the story about the person who prayed, had a prayer to God, and they prayed for something. But that person wanted to know the beginning, the middle, and the end. It just doesn't work.
Absolutely.
God will tell you, start walking. When you get to the stop sign, I will tell you to go left or right. When you get to the yield sign, I will tell you when to go or when to stop. But you have to keep walking on faith. And the other part of this whole thing is that um, when you start these journeys, there is no testimony without a test.
That's right.
Everything you start to do, all of a sudden, every obstacle will pop up and be part of that journey. But that's just to see if you're serious about what you're doing.
Mhm.
It's like it's like people who are helping people get in shape, lose weight, build muscle mass. They tell you it takes 21 days to change habits. And you can't start working on a muscle, and because the muscle doesn't show, and you can't do bicep, all that posing and everything, you're gonna quit. Or if you start a weight loss journey, if it doesn't happen in 3 weeks and you
You
can't see
quit.
your face, you can't see your belly going away, you can't see something changing, you want to quit. But
Exactly.
blessing is right around the corner. Don't ever stop something right before the blessing. And all that factors in until there's a ram in the bush. Your ram is waiting, the bush is there, but you have to walk in faith to accomplish, whether you're doing something in the professional world, you're raising your children, you're wanting to get married, you wanted to have a relationship. All of that stuff is just waiting. But sometimes we want to rush the process.
Absolutely.
We can't.
Absolutely. Listen, you said a mouthful, and everybody can probably relate to something along those lines. They may not coin it as a ram in a bush, but you're absolutely right. But the one key thing I heard you say also, it's definitely about having faith. And it becomes the things you cannot see. Will you still trust and move out and see that it shows up? Well, listen, I live my life like that. I'm designed to just, what God says, I need you here, go here, wherever, I'm there. And I don't even really take into consideration all the finances that you may need to have it, because normally when you show up, he makes the way possible. That has happened on so many occasions that it's been mind blowing, but I guess I'm starting to get used to it.
Well, and you have to, because sometimes when you start getting in tune with the voice that kind of guides you, it scares you because you wait, I've never done this before. Why are you having me do this? Even if that means separating from people in your space,
Mm-hmm.
you go, wait, but with this person, no, I know the future, what this is all about. So listen, when I tell you to start separating, you separate. You do what you have to do in order to succeed. Because just because someone's smiling in your face doesn't mean they're your best friend, or they don't have your best interest at heart. Sometimes the person smiling in your face is the one that's wishing for your demise. Because and I used to tell younger people this when I give speeches. You got to be careful, because just because they haven't done something, they don't see how you're doing it.
That's
And you
right.
came from the same family, the same community, the same society. Why is this happening for you? But they're not noticing the work that you put in. They're not noticing the nights that you're practicing something and you're going through a terrible stage. Because when you
Absolutely.
start something, you're not going to be good at anything unless you 1,000% gifted by God. But most of us, whether we're singers, performers, dancers, business people, hosts, anything, creators, we're not going to be good at that. So we have to give it time to marinate. I'm going to kind of do the crock pot thing. Sometimes you could, back in the day when people were using crock pots, you put everything in the crock pot, you go to work and come home 8 hours later, food's done.
Exactly.
You need time for it to marinate. And plus, sometimes leftover food tastes better than the original food because the
Exactly.
ingredients had time to soak in and marry everything together. Now it's one unit moving forward. Because I live by the African proverb. Well, two proverbs I live by. If you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you
Uh-huh.
go fast, you may miss how you got there and you can't repeat it. But if you go together, guess what? Your journey is a lot easier because you got somebody bringing the bread, you got somebody bringing the peanut butter, as my friend's book is about. It's easier if you have groups of people who are skilled
Absolutely.
at certain things that you can move in one direction.
Good morning, Dr. Tenaria. And you're right, Charles. It's community. It gets back to community. back to community. So, sometimes I want to say this when I think about ram in the bush, right?
Mhm.
And this may be relatable. I think about, that moment when provision showed up just in time. How many times were we at the last minute and it's like God delivered, provision showed up. Also, when there's that unexpected knock at the door that's literally bringing you what the need is, providing the need. So it's things like that we deal with day to day, and we just like, okay, did that just happen? But it could be so much bigger than that as well.
And sometimes it comes out of nowhere.
Nowhere.
You're literally thinking about, how do I make this happen? Somebody walks up and have the same conversation that you were thinking about, and you say, "Wow, how did you know?" See, we're spiritual beings first. We're spiritual beings having a human experience inside these bodies. But
Yes.
what we put out to the universe, whether it's a thought pattern or a verbal pattern, we're putting those things out to the universe. Like I have a friend who always talk about negative stuff, and I have to stop her and say, "Look, every time you put those negative thought patterns out to the universe, the blessings can't come in because you're blocking your own blessings from coming in. You keep saying you want things to happen, but you got to put the see what people forget is that faith without works is dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I wanted to dye my hair, there's two tubes that you put in there, the activator and the blah 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 the color. You have to mix those things together for it to work. But if I just put one of those ingredients in my hair, it
It's
may
not
make
gonna
your
work.
hair fall out. It may do nothing. But faith, you got to have the faith that you're going to succeed. And this is the test. Your mother, your father, your brother, your best friend may tell you, "Why are you doing that? That's not going to work for you." But you got to be willing to go, "I heard you, but I'm going to keep moving anyway." I think it was Lot who was told to leave the city of
Mm-hmm.
Sodom and Gomorrah. And what did God tell them? Don't look back. But
That's
what
right.
happened to his wife? His wife looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt.
That's right.
So let's put that into things that we're trying to do today. So I started a company about 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
God literally woke me up one morning and said, "I want you to start this company where you will inspire young men of color, young boys of color, to not just be athletes, musicians, rappers, or whatever, but to use their mind to think." So God told me, "I want you to start something that's called Black Boy Genius, where we can start letting our young men at an early age know that they're geniuses. But just because you were born a genius, and I think we all are, you have to cultivate that. If
Mm-hmm.
you throw a seed on top of the dirt, it may grow or may not grow. But if you do the proper steps, it's going to grow. But understand, you're supposed to have obstacles. That's the only way you build a muscle with resistance, right? But if you start a company tomorrow and zoom, you at the $100 million and you lose it, how do you know how you got there? So you have to have that test of faith. And some of us give up on opportunities just when the blessing is about to happen.
They abort.
Yeah.
They
My
abort.
mom used to say, when you get tired, you tie a knot in the rope and you hang on, because the blessing is right there. The things that you want to accomplish, and the interesting thing about different things that we think that we want to do. Sometimes we want to go left, but actually the universe, God, is he gets us there and go, no, no, no. Because a perfect example, that was something that I
Absolutely.
was doing last year. I just knew it was going to happen. It was going to happen really quickly. Blah blah blah. I was excited about. It. I was telling people about it. I got back to New York, and God said, "I didn't tell you to do that."
I remember.
And it didn't happen, and it hasn't happened yet. But guess
Mm-hmm.
what? All these other opportunities are coming my way. Because I'm saying, so sometimes when you're driving the car, you just have to be a little flexible. Because you may get to that stop sign and you may go, "Wow, I was going to go left, but look at all that over there." What you think you want is may not what you need. And that's
Absolutely.
relationships, that's business, that's anything we're doing. you know and I forget who the philosopher said, "Show me the people you hang around, I'll show you the people you will become." Because water seeks its own level. If everybody's on your level and you're trying to grow, you may need to visit another room that's smarter than you.
That's right.
And that's how we build our so-called ram in the bush. And that's how, because we have people and resources that we can call on and do these things and make our burden lighter. Because if I don't know how to make a dress, if I don't know how to design clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and I meet somebody who knows how to do it, they can do it in 10 minutes. It may take me a year to make a pair of pants. So why am I going to waste time? Why not partner with somebody who's moving in the same alignment that I'm in as we move faster together? You know, if I'm
Yeah,
good at video
definitely.
production and somebody's good on camera hosting something, why would I not want to partner with somebody who has that charisma, that pizzazz, that thing that you can't even define, but you know when they come on camera, people go, "Let me check that out and let me see what that's all about."
Exactly. I think that's why we work so well together. And it's been 30 years plus years, you know,
In my hair, it's been a long time,
it's been a
but
long time.
but that's the thing we have to always remember when we're look. I like this thing that I try to live by too. Um, you have to when you're pulling up, you have to pull up and pull from behind, up and from behind. So as you go up, you pull other people up with you because it's crazy to get to the top of the mountaintop and you look around and there's nobody else there. How do you enjoy that? So you
You
want to
can.
always share with people who have like mind. Now, this is the other thing. People will jump on the bandwagon halfway through the journey. That's where you have to check people. Are they joining the journey because you've inspired them? Are they joining the journey because they want to be lookers? Let me see what's going on. They want to be nosy. And then when the work happens, like I'm working with a client now, and I told them, I said, look, this is work. This is not just playing on the web. You got to daily think about what you're doing. You have a schedule. You have to put this stuff out. You have to put stuff out that people are interested in. If you're
Yeah.
putting something out that they're not interested in, it's like a tree falling in the woods. Did it really fall? So
It'll
you have
still
to
fall,
make
but will
sure.
they hear it?
Will they hear it? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, something you just said, and we got to be mindful. That's why having discernment is key, but also having people that are genuinely around you, that's 100% for you, can be eyes and ears for you. They can see what you can't see. And you're right. People are always looking to come in and co-op however they can, but you know what I always say? God made us authentic. He made us original. What God has for me is for me. So listen, people will do what they want to do. People will try to do, what you're doing. But at the end of the day, if that's what God has assigned for you, then you know what? He's going to perfect that in you.
Because you're uniquely made, and you can't look for somebody else's ram in the bush
That's
when
right.
yours is right behind you. But you're looking over here. You're going like, wait a minute, but I want that. That's not for you.
That's right.
You're not a comedian. You're not a dancer. You're not a singer. You're not even a host. But I want to host. But that's not your journey.
Yes,
It's not even your gift. Your gift, as
that's
I
true.
wrote this morning in a little document that I wrote. Sometimes we miss our own journey because we're trying to follow in the footsteps because we think somebody else's journey is easy. But they don't know what it took for that businessman to build that business, or businesswoman to build that salon, or that publishing company that
Absolutely.
they have. Sometimes it's years. People think overnight success is overnight success. No, overnight success could be 15 years of
Exactly.
building something, and you still may not feel that you're there, but you keep working in the right direction that you need to go. Because if you give up, your blessing would have been, wow, I could have just did that.
Absolutely.
I'm in my house I wanted to invest in years ago, and I didn't do it. Now that house is worth 5 times what I could have paid for.
Mm.
But in knowledge, people say, "Well, I don't have to worry about that." Knowledge will what you people, the saying, "What you don't know won't hurt you."
It will hurt you.
That is the biggest lie in the world. What you don't know will kill you.
That's right.
And we have to always be a student of learning. Pick up a book, pick up a magazine, talk to other people, talk to people who are smarter than you. You know, my best cheat code is
What?
talking to people who are older than me.
Me too.
And you know what they asked me one day? They said, why do you always have to church, sit around talking to us? We're 75, 80, 90 years old. I said, because I'm stealing your knowledge where I can take it around my friends and they think I'm brilliant. that. We never thought about it like that. Wisdom, I don't care if you never went to college. I don't care if you didn't even get a chance to finish high school. You've lived to 80 years old. You know something that I can take and put inside my life to make my life better. Because I think, as I said in the last series I did, we're here to touch the lives of other people. We're either teaching or learning, or we're doing both at the same time. Because
That's
every
right.
life does what? Touches another
Touches
life.
another.
Somebody's watching you, whether you're 10 years old or 50 years old. Somebody's watching the way you live your life. Either they're going to be inspired or they're going to be turned off.
That's right. I'm the same way. It's like an old soul, but that's why I feel I'm so blessed in my publishing company that I publish so many books for those over 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And the latest one, my latest author that just passed away was 102. But just the rich jewels and the history and just the wisdom, I don't know, I'm attracted to it.
And you know what you just did with that woman, even though she's passed away? You just extended her life forever
That's it.
because you put a word to the book.
Legacy. I was telling her daughter that. Absolutely.
Somebody
Legacy.
100 years from now, they pick up that book and go, who is this woman? Why are we
Absolutely.
reading all the Greek philosophers right now? Why are we reading those people? Because those people had wisdom that we can use today. But some of us are so ego driven, what I call ego, right? Edging God out.
Ooh, edging God out.
So you have to be
Ego.
careful with that ego. And I always ask myself, okay, is this my ego talking or is this something real? Because sometimes, and a lot of times, I think as human beings, we experience something and then we start making up stories in our head. Oh, they're probably doing that, or they may be doing this to me. I had a friend of mine tell me one day that I at another job I was working at, because I was being paranoid at that time. This was like 15, maybe 20 years ago. And she said, I hate to tell you this, you're not that important for us to sit around talking to you when you're not around. We don't care. And I had to come to that conclusion and realize that because I had become a little paranoid. Oh, they're jealous of me, this and that kind of thing. And yeah, jealousy can be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've learned in the last few years, how you overcome somebody who may be jealous or trying to get at you, shut up.
That's it. Don't feed into it, right? Do not feed into it. Leave them on an island all by themselves. You know what I always say? If people need my story or my life to help empower and give them life, then so be it.
So be it.
You
And
know what?
take this. Now you're going to see the struggle. Somebody said,
Absolutely.
well, Charles, you doing this and you doing that. Then when they worked with me once, they said, wait a minute. Wait, this is how long you have to sit to do this? Then you got to
Exactly.
go do this. Then you got, oh, I thought it
They
was
don't
all
want to
glamour.
sacrifice.
People look at Hollywood and they look at the actors and the performers and the entertainers and they go, wow, that glamorous life they live. But they don't realize 90% of the time they're working or trying to find work. Everything is a journey. Part of the calling is the climb. If you got a calling or if you decide you're going to do something, you have to be willing to participate in the climb. And
That's
you're
right.
going to stumble. You're going to go 2 steps and stumble. You're going to go 3 steps and stumble. You may go 15 steps and stumble. But as long as you keep walking up, think about it, did Easter, right? This past Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
When Christ was carrying that cross, how many times did he stumble?
He stumbled a few times.
And what was his ram in the bush?
When the black gentleman came and helped him carry the cross. Let me
There's
tell you,
always
always.
somewhere there to help. What did the man who was on the cross, I think to the right of him or the left of him, one? He said, "Oh, you're a good person. Why are they doing it? I've been a thief, a robber, and all of that." And he said, "Repent, and you'll be with me in paradise."
Mm-hmm.
So there's always an opportunity for us to change, to do something different, to make.
Absolutely.
But habits are hard to change. Sometimes habits don't change unless sometimes traumatic or scary or life
Yeah.
threatening happens to you. Your body starts to go, wait a minute, you're eating too much sugar, you're eating too much chocolate, wait a minute, you're eating too much meat, or you're not exercising, you're sitting down too much. You're letting your body kind of just die while you're living. And those
Mm-hmm.
habits force you to change. But if we just make modified changes as we go, I think life will be a lot easier. And then a
Absolutely.
lot of us don't ask enough questions of other people who've gone through things. Tell me about your journey where I can take something from your wings and put it on my wings where my wings are strong enough to carry me, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just talked about that in another morning brew, but I think people have trust issues.
Yes.
People have trust issues. And the thing is, how you can combat that is keep your eyes stayed on him, on him, on God. What is he telling you to do? Because sometimes he may have you do something for someone that just wronged you.
I got
You
one
know,
even better for you. What if God uses you and have you go through a struggle to teach someone else something?
that's exactly, literally, because he chose you, he knew you were equipped to go through it
That's it.
for the benefit of someone else.
And before I go, I want to say this. And I was just telling a friend of mine this. I was telling her, I said, look, when you are chosen and God wants you to do something, you'll get a brick theory, you'll get a whisper in your ear, you'll get a shout in your ear, then time will go by and a ton of bricks will come on you. And I'm going to tie this back into the mentor clothing company that I started a few years ago,
Mhm.
Black Boy Genius. So I told you guys early in this conversation, I got the message that started this apparel company and this mentor company where you send out affirmations, you talk to young men, boys of color, inspiring them, right? Went to several of my friends and told them the title. I said, oh, no, nobody's going to be called boy. Why would you call it boy? I said, okay, maybe you're right. So I changed it to Be Genius. A year went by. A whole year went by. And I got another message. Woke up a Sunday morning. What did I tell you to do? And then I modified it again. I ignored it. Then I got somebody on the internet as if they were talking directly to me about this company. I said, wait a minute, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. At that point, I hopped right up and started printing shirts, doing affirmations, building out the website, building out the
Absolutely.
YouTube channel, interviewing young men. So I got this whole series where I got probably 1,000 interviews where I'm going to be putting out very soon. And on top of that, we're starting a men's corner that probably is
Yes.
going to start up in sometime in May, late May, mid May, somewhere around that. Because now what I'm learning, when you get the message to do something, walk, keep walking, don't look back. Because your best friend, and sometimes your best friends don't mean bad things. They don't have bad ill
They don't.
intentions.
They just don't
They
have
just don't
insight like
believe it,
God.
and it's not their journey.
That's right.
It's
That's right.
your journey. So keep moving forward.
That's it. Listen, I got to say this before you leave. And I always, like I said, I always love having you on. And so, but I want to just celebrate you because I'm going to make this announcement. Hold on. I'm pulling it up on the screen. I want to say congratulations to you as well because it's popping up. Stand by because the men's anthology book, it says number 3 on there, but it got up to number 2.
Oh,
We're still
congratulations.
fighting for it to get to number 1, right? So go and support what it is like being a man. And you did contribute to this book. You wrote a beautiful endorsement, an extended endorsement in this book. So that is the first thing that people will read when they open up the pages of this book is your extended endorsement. And I am so happy because a lot of you all will be with us on Friday for Authors Brew Friday. And so Dr. Tenaria, who's right now, uh, Dr. Tenaria, who is in the comments, she's been in the conversation. Yes, this was her vision that God gave her. And, it was a struggle, but she was so determined. She kept her eyes on God. This message today aligns with, just her focus, her faith. She kept her eyes. This is a almost 5-year labor of love that
And
has
I'm sure
finally
she
been
wanted
birthed
to
out.
give up many times. I'm sure maybe some of the men were slow getting their
Oh
story.
no, we don't went through so many different men,
But
and only
that's her
2 from day
that's her
1
testimony.
survived.
That's her testimony. And this is what I will say to you for Morning Brew and for the good doctor. The reason why a book like this is important, because as we grow as boys to men, The number one thing we're told: men don't show emotions, men don't cry, men don't feel. Suck it up, be strong. In every day, what we're doing, we're suppressing, suppressing, suppressing. What happens to a pressure cooker if you suppress it long enough?
Yeah.
It's going to explode on the man, or the man will explode on someone else. So getting stories out there and giving an outlet for men to speak is so important, because it makes us better humans, it makes us
Yes.
better men, and it makes us better people who can treat their wives, their girlfriends, their kids better, and society better. Because what you do, my friend just told me the other night, we were talking, she said to me, she said, the reason why I really don't get upset a lot, because my father told me, no matter what's happening, even if somebody hurts your feeling, take a second and think about it. Because
Yes.
it's not about what they said to you. You don't want to respond the same level as them, because now you become them. And you don't want that.
Mm,
You want to be able to keep your composure. You don't, because think about something. If I do something to you to make you mad, it throws you off. And a
absolutely.
lot of people who are dream killers will do that. They will say things to you, and then you start questioning yourself. And that's when I'm sure the good doctor with the book, I'm sure people thought, well, why are you writing a book? You're a woman. Why are you trying to do this about men's voices and stuff like that? But she said, no, I have to stay the course, because this is a vision I
That's
have.
right.
No matter what, I stay the course. Now the book is out. The book is climbing the charts, almost at #1, and they're coming on your show on Friday. I'll probably stick my head in a little bit and say a little something.
You better.
Congratulations. But I think this is so important that we're starting to hear from men. And the good thing about this is not only seasoned men, but these are young men. We have a big conference coming up in October 10th,
Hmm.
in New York, upstate New York, where we're bringing men and boys together. We have groups of men who are in their 60s, 70s, and we have young men who are coming
Yes.
together, and they're going to be talking about relationships. They're going to be talking about marriage. They're going to be talking about developing families. And I said, the ones who are older, we're going to shut our mouth and let them talk about what their needs are, what they're looking for, how they're growing, and what they need from people who passed that 30, 40-year olds. So we need to be able to give back. And more importantly, we said on the call yesterday, we were meeting, we need to listen.
Yes.
You can't just always say, do this, do this. Listen to what they have to say, and we can better guide them. So all of this is good. All of this talk is good.
Absolutely. Let me tell you, I know you have to go. But I have to tell you, I am so proud of this body of work with these men, because just like you said, men don't just show their vulnerability, they don't open up freely, but they have such powerful voices and such powerful stories. And that's exactly what this book exemplifies. So I am so proud of just being a part of this journey with Dr. Tenaria Drummond Smith to allow these stories to be heard. And so looking forward to having you all on Friday. And Dr. T will be with me also, as we tag team it. So, but I'm excited. I'm excited about it. And I know you have to go. You're running out the door right now. And so
Yes.
what we're going to do, we're going to bring this to a close. But before you leave, can we do a quick Blacks in fact for the
Yes,
day?
we can, because I love
All right.
getting our stories out there.
Yes, let's bring that up. And we have Harmon Entertainment Group. Yes, the visionary. Well, he's aligned with the visionary, and he brings these beautiful messages together for Dr. Teresa Merritt Watson. Yes, I'm calling her doctor. I know she's going through her whole dissertation right now, but I'm calling it into
You're
existence.
manifesting her doctor.
I'm manifesting it. Yes, here we go.
Blacks
This is
In.
the Black Sin.
Today on Blacks In, we honor Joseph R. Winters, the inventor who changed fire safety forever. On April 8, 1879, he secured a patent for an improved fire escape ladder that helped firefighters save lives more efficiently. His design made ladders more practical, extendable, and effective during emergencies in growing cities. At a time when recognition was limited, his innovation still made a powerful impact on public safety. Joseph R. Winters represents the brilliance, resilience, and life-saving contributions of Black inventors in American history. See you next time on Blacks In.
That is beautiful. You got me. I want to say one more thing. I know I should be already out the door, but I want to say this. The reason why our children kind of going off the rails. If you only think that you were slaves and you were oppressed, and that's all you know about your history in America, what else would you want to be?
Absolutely.
You think I contributed nothing to society. I did nothing. All the other people are doing things that we're not, because we're waiting on someone else to tell our story. But you and the young man who's doing the videos, and Ms. Watson,
Gerard and Teresa Merritt Watson, yes,
doing those things. And sometimes, this is so interesting. Sometimes we do things on a level where we think, oh, it's just a calendar, or it's just a video, but that's a mustard seed.
Absolutely.
That seed can go everywhere, because when the right people hear the stories, it's like the telephone game. Oh, did you hear about this? I didn't know that. I didn't know this. I didn't. What do we hear every Black History Month? We hear about Dr. King. We hear about
the same people.
But we don't know this computer we're on right now, this color screen.
Yeah,
that was created by a Black person.
Absolutely. We listen. Our phones that we're on every single day, our smartphones.
The astronauts on their way back from space. The astronauts on their way from space.
Exactly.
That was some Black women who navigated all that stuff. But our kids don't know that. They only know rappers.
Adults don't know it.
If we don't know it, how do we pass it to our kids? If we don't know, how do we pass it down?
That's why it's so important.
And look, I'm so happy that Morning Brew is spotlighting this on every show, because it's getting out to people who will go, whoa, let me look up some more stuff. Let me look up this calendar. Let me look up these videos. Then they start liking them. They start buying them. They start purchasing them. Because at the church where I'm at now, this is what we do. We make sure that the people that we portray in the church look like the people that really were alive. Absolutely. We don't live the lie. We try to tell the truth.
Absolutely.
Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. So it hurts your feelings for 5 minutes, but it's the truth. How do you heal? By telling the truth. When you keep perpetuating a lie, you never heal. So those are the things, if nothing else out of this conversation, we have to be not only be true to ourselves, but true to what we believe and what we say. Because, we was talking about this in our roundtable discussion about a men's corner. There's a difference between a good man and a nice man. See, one is consistent. One is doing it to get favor or get attention. And I'll let you guys figure out. Y'all can tell me in the chats and all that kind of stuff. And the next time we come on, we can talk about that. The good man versus the nice man. So anyway, but I do have to run. I have to go and take care of some other stuff, but that is great.
Thank you so much. We are going to bring Morning Brew to a close. But Charles, thank you so much for just always bringing wisdom to Morning Brew, and also for being such an inspiration in my life and a mentor and pushing me forward, not
every
letting me
touches
fall.
Another life. Every life touches another life. We do this. This is how people build. You build, hey, push. I know I got to go. I'm going to say this one last thing. My cousin Sandra.
We'll close on this.
Okay, we'll close on this. My cousin Sandra, my best friend Robert, another friend I met who in college, Shedrick, and a couple other people. What we were doing in college, if he accomplished something, I needed to top him. If he accomplished, but it wasn't competition where I was trying to put him down, put her down. It was about how do we build together so we push each other higher and higher, Exactly. And I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about her journal and that kind of thing. But anyway, that's for another discussion. Okay? But right. I got to go to the office, okay?
Listen, we're releasing Charles. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by Morning Brew with your girl Germaine and our resident contributor, Charles E. Williams Jr. So we'll be back tomorrow. 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you stop by. And then Authors Brew Friday. Hopefully we can get Charles to come back with all the men so we can talk about this amazing book, okay?
Definitely.
Have a great day. Talk to you all soon. Be safe, whatever it is you do today on your journey. But thank you so much for sharing in these moments and conversations with us on Morning Brew with Germaine. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.